yeah, this is for people to discover who you are, who we are, your journey, your background, what led you here, and I guess overall what makes you different in a good way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let's get into it. I'm ready.
Awesome. Right. Well, first one I want to know is, what was your first actual job? Because obviously I've known you this whole time as this business owner of TSOS, and I've heard some of the jobs you've done, but I don't know where you actually started.
At B&Q, just a store assistant there.
And how old were you? Sorry.
16.
Damn.
Started at 16.
Like a part-time.
Yeah, that was part-time. And let me be completely honest, like, because I'm stalling here. I liked to party when I was younger. We used to, just to understand context, you guys don't party like we used to party. So from Monday
I've had this conversation
to Sunday,
and I would agree.
I was out.
Yeah.
Out. There's no full-time job though.
I think clubbing was better in your day.
Yeah, so it was always just
finding there.
Yeah, but it was always just finding bits to do.
Like, get what you need to earn.
Yeah, exactly. And when you go past the warehouse stuff, then it was marketing, door-to-door sales. That's probably one of my first memories of my first jobs.
What were you selling?
Some child charity.
Oh, okay.
Getting subscriptions for a child charity. And then I remember there was one where it was N-Power energy company.
How many jobs do you think you had before you actually started your own company?
Probably had about 30, 40 jobs before.
And they all kind of after your 20s and you did your warehouse B&Q, were they all in that sort of sales area?
I had the Second Sport one where I was assistant manager at Second Sport for...
That like a sports shop?
Yeah, a sports shop just up the road when it was there. Yeah. That was for... God, how long was I there? 7 years?
So with what I know about TSOS and everything, something that's coming to my head now with that is that where you first were like that local sense of community then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the first, so I had this reputation, getting into a bit, of being quite stern and quite harsh and liking things the way that I like it.
Blunt.
And blunt, and Steph's this guy and all that stuff. But it wasn't until...
I'm aware of this reputation.
It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I actually reflected and went, I've always been helping people. Like, whether I knew it or not, I've always been guiding young people, the young people that I was working with at Second Sport, young people I was working with at these warehouses outside of work when I was doing the music and producing for people and getting them around and mentoring them. I've always done it. So it was just a natural transition to then be able to do this stuff because I'm just applying the same stuff that I've always done when I'm mentoring people. It's getting them in the right frame of mind, the positivity, allowing them to do stuff. And it's something that's always been a part of my being, if that makes sense.
Yeah, wasn't you thought of consciously?
I wasn't in Second Sport going, yes, I'm going to mentor this child. I'm gonna. It was just something that I've always done. I've always been that person that wants to bring people up and not everybody, right? So I'm not a saint, right? And there's some people I don't like, and some people I don't talk to, and some people I won't help. But the majority of the people I was coming across in those times are all decent people, and I was always willing to give a hand and help.
Just want help.
Yeah.
So what was your first experience like as a business owner? Because this for you was uncharted territory. You were, I imagine, best analogy I think of is in Wallace and Gromit when they're on the train and they're putting the track down as the train's going in front of them. I imagine that was kind of what it was like.
No. It really fell so well into place. That's
not going to be very relatable. For
but that's the part that was quite scary.
Yeah.
So at that time,
like you say, it's like success is sometimes scary.
So at that time, I think Tracy had some contact at some company who delivers training, and I don't know whether it's through that or through the Growth Hub. She had a contact at Growth Hub as well. They were just throwing us work. We didn't have to market anything. We didn't have there's no GDPR marketing or merch or anything like that out there because we got a website immediately, paid thousands of pounds for a website we never used. Right? So this is one of the things when going some of the advice that small businesses need. Yeah. We were consultants. We didn't need the website because all our work was coming through this agency and it was consistent. And yeah, it was just every week we had something going on and it was very lucrative. Yeah. At the time, when you say it was newfound territory, GDPR was newfound territory. So it wasn't
like you were dropped into this big pond now and you were a small fish. It was everyone's a small fish. And
everybody needed that service at that time, or believed they needed that service at that time, and we were perfectly placed at that time for that service. So we go, okay, we're here. All these companies are going, we don't know what GDPR is. We'll train you. We'll come in. So that was essentially the business. We were just going to corporations all over the country and training them for an hour a day or 2 hours a day on GDPR. It was fantastic.
One of the big differences now, especially with this company, TSOS Group, is you want to do things differently, which is, not a bad thing, not a good thing if you look at it from afar. I think it's a great thing because having worked at some of the places I've not always been happy. It takes over my life. One of the key differences, is you want that work-life balance. It's something that you push for not just yourself, but for everyone. How has doing things differently impacted the growth of this company? Do you think in a good way, in a bad way? What set the different tone for that?
It's impacted it hugely in a positive way. And simply because you're a prime example of it impacted positively. Everybody that works in this place is an example of it impacted positively. I can now get more done, get more out of you guys than I ever could using the old model. Because I've changed the model, because we're friends, because I've got people and going, right, we only work for 10 till 4. We only work for 6 hours. And out of that, I think I'm going to get a good 3 hours out of you guys, right? And that's what I really push for. I push for a good 3 hours. And then we have conversations. We do things like this, and we get to know each other. And I know
a lot of the job as well can be just boring, emailing, typing.
Exactly,
things you can have a chat with, and
mundane nonsense. And we're going, well, we're grown adults, right? So let's take it to the bare bones.
To a degree,
everybody in here is a grown adult.
Yeah.
What happens in society is we have toddlers, and then we treat people like toddlers for the rest of their lives, and it's conditioning. So when the bell rings, you're supposed to do this. And when you do your class, you do the register, you answer like this, and you wear your uniform and do all that stuff. Nothing changes when you go to work. You have to clock in, or you have to sign in at this time, and then you go for lunch at this time, and you have to ask to go to the toilet and things like that. And we go, no, there must be this cutoff at some point where we go, no, let's treat people like adults. Let's make them responsible. Because if you don't give people responsibility, they will never become responsible. Right? If I'm consistently guiding you guys about what you need to do, you will never learn how to do it yourself. So it's making people aware of themselves and their own power and their own being, and they have to be responsible for their timekeeping. They have to be responsible for what work they do. They have to be, because now if you fail, it's on you. Right? Because we've just talked about all these bad managers that we had, and if I failed in that environment, it's not on me, it's on them. They didn't give me the right tools. What we're trying to do here is give the right tools and go, right, you can either succeed or you can fail over here. It's your choice. But I'm not going to be over your shoulder going, you're failing. You need to, no, you're grown adult. You know when you're failing. You know when you're not putting in enough work. You know if you're not giving enough effort. We're not stupid here. You know how much you're giving and how much you want to give. I don't need to be the one gauging it. Like, it's just those sort of things. It's more of a change of mentality than changing the entire culture. It's just changing mentality. When I'm going, I want you to be happy. And I've always said that if anybody here comes in on a Monday or whatever day they're supposed to be in, and before they come in, they're like, oh gosh, I have to go to the hub. This has failed. Completely failed as a project. And I can probably safely say nobody feels that way. So it's succeeding as a product.
No, I look forward to coming in.
That's my point. So we must be doing something right, because every single person that probably listens to this has had a Monday morning when they're like, oh, can't be going. I don't want to go to work.
Every day I had to go to work.
Yeah. It's like, oh gosh, the weekend's done.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas we go, oh, it's Monday, which I like. Or it's Tuesday. It's whatever day. I get up, I'm going, I've got this in today. I never get up and go, oh my gosh, go to the hub.
The only time something will impact me wanting to not come here is football matches have not come to work. Then I've got to deal with Steph banging on Liverpool.
But again, that's a lie, right? Because you couldn't wait to come in and talk about football. It's something
Because we
else.
got that 90.
But even if you lost, it's something else to banter about. It's something else to talk about. Because I'd rather be doing that with somebody than in my house with nobody. Right? I'd rather have the banter with back and forth with somebody than just be sitting there going, oh, what am I going to do today? Stuff like that. So having that drive to come in is built on the culture that we're creating. So everything we're doing, as I said, is the reverse of what we've seen and what we've had happen. We're going, it must be working. Must be.
And then, so the values are important to us, not just with the volunteers we have here and the environment we set up, but approaching clients as well. What do you think sets you apart, or sets us apart, really, with how we approach our clients different to everyone else?
Transparency. I think the way we're open and honest with people. Again, it's because a small business can come to us and go, what do I do here? We can tell them because we've been there and we've done it. And then we go, here's a solution. But I won't charge you extortionate amount of money because I've been there and I've done it. I know you haven't got it, right? And in order for your business to work, you need that extra support. So again, coming back to that support circle that we're going, here's the analogy that I use it all the time with organization I'm working with. The world is slightly unaligned. And what I'm trying to do here is just in our little space, just in this little hub that we have, just realign it and make it make sense. Small businesses, startup businesses, entrepreneurs need the most help. It's newfound territory we're talking about. They're trying to build that train while the train's coming down the track, right?
Great film.
They need all the help they can get. Can't afford all the help they need, right? A major corporation, Tesco's, whatever, can afford all the help they need. Don't need the support. Right? So we need to find some balance here where it makes sense.
There is that element of this is a bit too good to be true, that you have to kind of break that barrier down, and
the world is not ready.
It.
Society is not ready for people just helping each other. It's weird. And so again, in this small little space,
very cynical world.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it so that's not weird. It's just normal for us to help each other. Just normal for us to want to support each other and love thy neighbor and have communities and have friendships and build bonds with each other. I just want that to be normal. And so when I'm offering people the support, I'm having the clearest day conversation as this. In a few years, when you're successful, I'm hoping that you will reinvest in my company the way that we're investing in yours. Because at this point, you can't afford to really invest in my company. So I'm going to give it to you so you get there. And there's so many people not given that opportunity to get there. Great ideas, great concept, great personality, great ability, all these things, but don't get the opportunity to get there.
Were there any moments where you're like, is this going to work?
Yeah, so
are people not buying into like what we're trying to sell in that sense of let's help each other, let's create that support network, let's not try and just get money from people, let's try and build people up.
Yeah. So when I first created the TSOS Group, so this was off the back of the Kickstarters, we then looked at how can we get a support network of businesses for small business startups. And the first conversation was with a brand strategist, No Name Extra Brain, that's a good plug. And we said, let's partner up. So you can offer data protection, because that's what we were doing at the time, and we can offer brand strategy to our clients. So in the world of small businesses, consistently having these clients coming in, they want a specific thing, but they're a small business as well. So we know they need everything, right? Going back to the point, you need everything. You may have contacted us for data protection, but I know that you need terms and conditions, dude. And I know that you haven't got a brand strategist, and you might need a website. You might need all these things. So it, as a concept, it just sounds like, why don't we have all these things that we can offer all our clients? So that was the concept for the TSOS Group, is have this umbrella of all these individual businesses, not a merger. We're all autonomous, all our own individual businesses, but we just can offer our clients. It's like I hate saying, but it's a one-stop shop for businesses. So we had telecoms, we had web design, advertising agencies, brand strategy, energy providers, all under this one roof. Lawyers, HR, but and everybody, there was about 14 different corporations that I got, small businesses, sorry, not corporations, that I got under this umbrella, and they all loved the idea when we were speaking individually. But I just don't, again, go back to the point, I don't think society was ready for just helping people. I don't think in their minds, I know there was something in the back of their heads going, well, what's in it for him? Is he going to take my company? Is he going to, where's
no one just helps someone.
Nobody, we can't just help each other. And we're going, well, if we do, there's 14 strands of marketing we have now that you had one yesterday. Now you have 14 organizations that can post your stuff as well, right? This is huge. Now you have 14 different organizations that can offer you advice as a small business, and we can sit in a room and come up with different scenarios and help each other that way. And also 14 different businesses that can pass you work when last week it was just you out searching for jobs. So the concept for me was just sound. It just made sense. It was just like, yes, no brainer, right? This is, again, everything I talk about, it's not like it's rocket science. I'm going, this is just logical. If we all help each other, we can just generate more work for each other and benefit these small businesses as well, because we don't have to charge corporate money. Right, as small business, we can charge less.
Yeah.
We don't have to do the market. We don't have to pay for marketing. We don't have to pay for stuff because we've got different departments, right? So we can charge small businesses. So everybody wins. Part of all my concepts is everybody wins in everything we're doing. There has to be winners. That's how you get people invested. And so yeah, that was the concept, that everybody wins. But it was just a time in society where there was just like, yeah.
In your almost a decade now of experience running your own company, what do you think are some of like the biggest misconceptions of running your own business?
I think the biggest misconception is that you have to be insular, that you have to be in this silo and getting all your customers. And
as we said before, sorry to interrupt, like, a lot of the people we've worked with, sometimes it's not that fear of failure, it's that fear of success, and they sometimes hinder their own progress because it's like, what if I do well? I've got to do all these other things, and it's so terrifying. I get secondhand like fear from some of the people we work with sometimes.
Yeah, it's the misconception is this. Yeah, I'll say it. So it's the dog eat dog world. It's not. It's if we help each other, we'll get better world. I think small businesses get convinced of doing things a certain way so they don't rival corporations. You'll always stay down here if you don't grow and build a network of people, right? So when you have dog eat dog world and you have the early bird catches the worm and all this stuff, all these sayings that forces people
competitive.
You got to fight for this stuff. No, absolutely not. The biggest misconception is that there's this battle going on.
If there's a £50 million market and there's 10 companies, you can all have 5 million each, That's a lot of money.
Yeah. But we're driven by greed. So I want 49.
Yeah.
They can split up the rest between them. Rather than going, if I'm fighting for the 49, I might not get there. I might end up with 5. But I can guarantee 5 if we all work together. So it's just those sort of mentalities. And major corporations, as I say, they collaborate consistently, right behind the scenes. But small businesses are so precious because they're taught that it's stuff getting. You need to copyright this because somebody's going to steal it and they're going to do all this stuff. And even when it came to this concept was out there. I was speaking about it to everybody because I'm getting people involved. At any point, somebody could have stolen that idea, but they didn't have a me. I knew I was the USP for this. I'm the one speaking to all these organizations, getting involved. They know Steph before they know TSOS. So it's okay to not be precious about, I've known people who are cooks, so they're precious about their recipes. They're not bringing on staff because they don't want them to know what the ingredients are. I'm like, you want to grow, you're going to have to let people know the ingredients of what they're putting on the food, right? So it's, again, it's just that isolation that a lot of businesses are creating themselves, where we're going, no, if we collaborate with everybody, let's open it up. I could be a business that's going, oh, I don't know how to do some stuff, but I don't want them to know because they might steal my idea. Or I can go over to that person and go, how do I do this? And they tell me, and it's job done, right? It's easy. But it's that mentality that, as you say, it's competitive and it's this dog eat dog and it's early bird and all that stuff. But if you look into a lot of those sayings, they're all contradictory to themselves as well, because the early bird catches the worm, but good things come to those who wait. Right? So which one are we listening to? So it's all those different mentalities. And again, working yourself into a bone and stuff like that. It's not about working so hard that you're sick and stuff like that. You have to work, but with something like this, it becomes your life. It's not even work anymore. So I was working yesterday. I was working over the weekend because I need to get stuff done. I don't see a weekend as a break from work. I just see it as I'm not actually at work. I don't see it as I need a break. I'm not in the office. But yeah, there's a lot of people that force themselves into like really bad conditions because they're going, I have to make this work and stuff like that. The analogy I always use with you guys, you will never ever find a CEO on this planet that works harder than a Saturday worker in McDonald's. Doesn't exist. They'll convince you that that person exists, and that person will come out, that CEO will come out and say, no, I work 20 hours. It's nonsense. It's a lie. So there's nothing you can get done in that time. So I don't know what you're lying for. But a Saturday worker at McDonald's, they're on it for 10 hours straight, right? They're working hard, but they're not successful at it. They're doing their job, but now they can't retire off the back of that. So that's a myth, right? Both my parents worked hard their entire lives. They're both on state pensions. They're not wealthy. So I'm looking at the examples that you're telling me I should follow this. But I'm looking at the examples. I'm going, no. What you have to do is build this network that works for you. That's what you have to do. And if you're a small business entrepreneur, I think building that network that works for you makes sense, right? Rather than me running my bones into the ground because I'm trying to do all this stuff. Yeah. I'm trying to be the marketer, the advertiser, the social media, the product.
What would be, if you can go back in time, the one thing you'd tell younger Steph when he first started making his own business?
Probably build a safety net for ourselves. We should have been more, we should have future-proofed more. It would have been difficult to have pivoted, but it would have been nice to have had something to pivot to, if that makes sense. Yeah. If we had foreseen Teams being a thing and gone, right, let's just change to Teams being a thing. We had no setup for that. I think we tried it a couple of times. It just didn't work because of how we train. We can't be in the room. Yeah, we have to be in the room. You can't do the humor and all that stuff. Well, yeah, it didn't work. So it was just like, if we had some way of, I don't know, if it could even happen today, if I'd have had some way that we could have pivoted slightly and continued doing what we're doing, or even just had that backup to say, if we're not on site, we're going to do it online. And just change the training to formal training. This is what it's going to be.
What would your advice be to someone that's either just started a business, looking to start a business?
Come to TSOS.
Other than come to
Go on, carry
on. I think I had that like a little joke, like, other than come to TSOS. You take a mile.
Stole it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I taught him everything he knows.
I'm going to cut that and do another take. But yeah, other than coming to TSOS, obviously, because we're here to help people, it's what we want to do. What other advice is there? More about them as a person, I guess, than what
network.
They can do. Yeah,
network for the right reasons. A lot of small businesses, entrepreneurs, startups, they network to try and sell a product. You're in a room where everyone's selling and nobody's buying, right? So my major advice is network for the sake of networking. Get to know people and get people to know your names. I started this whole thing by saying to people, I'm not here to make colleagues, I'm making friends.
Yeah.
Right? Do that, because it does open up doors for you and it does give you access that you would never have had access before. And I think that's one of the most underrated tools for a small business is the size of their network. Who do you know? Because that's the world we're living in. It's not what you know. It's like, who do you know? Who's going to open up the door for you? So we were speaking to a major corporation about this place, and they were looking to do something like this, and they want to get us as consultants to get their one built up, and they were saying that they were trying to get it underway, but they're struggling talking to the right person. They're not talking to decision makers, they're talking to the people that can't make decisions. And how do we get this up and running and stuff like that? And I'm going, that's where they messed up. They're worried about who they're talking to. I was just talking. So the decision maker, I might not be able to get to you, but the person I'm talking to will tell me who you are. And they'll not only tell me who you are, they'll introduce me to you. they'll not only introduce me to you, they'll open the door and say, this is Steph. And so rather than going direct to the guy, I was going to the guy before the guy before the guy, and then they'll introduce me to the next guy and then the next guy. And then a lot of the stuff as well was reversed. So I was going to the top guy just because it was a networking event. So who's this guy? And then they'll introduce me to this person, that person, that person, that person. So it's not always like the top of the tree is the one that you need to speak to. Sometimes it's reversed. So it's just finding the right, it's not finding the right person, having the right conversation at the right time with the right person that can tie it all up for you at the end. So yeah, networking, speaking to people, get your name out, getting people to remember you. And don't be going to, I was going to networking events and disrupting it. Not in a negative way, but just out of, I'm not going to move with speed networking. No, I'm staying here.
Yeah.
And then everybody's talking to me still. Eh?
That being different again.
Yeah, it's just make them notice me. I was Tracy and I would go at the same time, and I was always putting her down. So I'll be like, yeah, you're going to hear this from Tracy over there, but this is the best version. So every person that would hear Tracy's version would come back to me and go, her version was better. Not knowing that I've won twice. Yeah. So you remember me and now you remember her. Exactly. And we've got the same message, but you've heard it twice. And you're now remembering the message. And some just certain ways to make yourself stand out. I think we're in a society now where it's like individualism and personality is kind of just been tempered to a degree when you go, but when people find the personality, they love it. So there's nothing negative about it. It's just having a way of standing out as a person, not your business. Put your business to the back burner, especially at networking events and stuff like that, because everybody's got business. Nobody's impressed. Yeah. Nobody's going there, oh, you own a business, so I need to talk to you. No, they'll be impressed with you as a person. Why do I need to talk to you? And be interested enough to have a conversation with people. And that's what we do very well from this side of the aisle.
So for TSOS to feel like a success for you, what does that look like? What's the legacy there for you to go, right? Because obviously we know now that this is working, we are speaking to a lot of people and we're doing all right. But what does that long-term legacy look like? That long-term success for you look like? I know we've kind of dropped little hints of that throughout. If we can collate that into one nice, elegant answer.
If this idea, not even just the hub, this idea is rolled out across the country and it starts something new, starts to change. If you guys can leave here, and whether it's in organizations that you work for, whether you stay with us or whether you start your own company and you maintain that culture of let's just treat people good. If we can help all these small businesses and they feel supported, they feel like they've got a network, they feel like they've got people they can talk to and their businesses succeed, all these things are the legacy. As a black man in this country, raised by my parents, I was always told I have to work twice as hard. And my cousins got told that, a lot of my friends got told that. It was always the same message. We got to work harder because we're going to struggle more. And I've always seen that as a failure in our parents and our seniors. Why did you just accept that narrative? Why didn't you change that narrative? So why do I have to work just so? Why haven't you made it so I can just work like everybody else? Why haven't you made it so it's easier for me? Right? Because that's the way to go. So what I'm trying to create is so I don't have to have that conversation with my grandchildren, that my sons don't have to have that conversation with their kids. They go, oh, I really need some work. Oh, just go up there and mention your granddad's name. Because I've built this network of people that can support what I need supporting. That's the selfish reason why I'm doing all this. It's for me and mine to have an easier life. And if everybody succeeds, everybody's world is better. If
you're not succeeding at the exploitation of others, you're succeeding and you've helped other people.
No, but that's the point. So in order for me to succeed, they have to succeed. Yeah. Right? So I don't get anything out of legacy or anything like that if all these businesses that I'm trying to help fail. I don't get the legacy. I don't get the support in my grandchildren or my children. I don't get that. That doesn't happen without me putting in first. So yeah, on a selfish level, I want it to be easier for my family and friends. I want the world to be easier because it's hard.
Well, that is the end of all of my questions. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add?
We just want this to be the central place. You need help, you need support, come and see us. We're very open. We're very friendly. Well, most people. I do have a face sometimes, but I'm a happy guy. Come and see us. We're real people with real lives, really trying to help you. That's the message. So it's I should have done that.
Yeah, I was about to
Real
say.
people with real lives, and we're really trying to help you. I think once people understand that we're just normal people with skills that can help them, this is where you need to come. And we're doing everything affordable for people. So make this your first port of call before you go and spending thousands of pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Steph, thank you for coming into your own place.
Thank you for the chat.
Thank you guys for watching if you got to this point. And yeah, we hope to see you soon and help you out.